St. Paddy's Day. Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Coast FM 963. You're on Roar and More between 7 and 9 p.m. with a few fine lads with me in the studio right now. I'm Angus Hamill, your host for this evening, and I'm being joined by Stephen Whitley. How are you going today, Steve?
Angus, top of the evening to you, brother. I got to say that has probably got to be the worst Irish accent I think I've probably ever heard. But it's okay. But it's okay, buddy. You know, at least you're having a good try. Good evening to you as well, Central Coast, and lads, happy St. Patrick's Day 2025.
Indeed.
Brendo, how are you going, Jamesy?
We got James O'Brien, Brandon McMillan with us as well, and Irish Steve, apparently. And Steve, before you insult me again, lest I tell you that I have the power to mute your microphone, sir.
I actually thought he was going to do that too.
Yeah. My finger was actually hovering over the off button, but I thought, I'll let him have his piece.
Don't worry, we're not going to be continuing on with this whole Irish accent thing. This is...
Speak for yourself, Brando. We started off right there. Of course, tonight we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day with a bit of friendship in the studio and a bunch of songs by Irish artists. We started off at the top there with a beautiful piece of contemporary Irish instrumentalism. Okay, no, I have to be honest. That was supposed to be One Direction with a bonus track from their 2014 album 4, but I accidentally played the karaoke instrumental version instead of the actual vocalized version. So there you go. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're getting the roster out of the way nice and quickly. Well, Brando, it's been a couple of weeks since you were last on with us.
Missing in action for a week.
I reckon.
We've missed you.
We have. Well, speak for yourself, Steve. I'm kidding. What have you been up to, Brando?
Oh, nothing much. Just been prepping for the Brando takeover, which I believe all of you've heard before we started this little show here.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Very nicely done, I must say, with these guys celebrating their prisoners course training finally being over.
About time.
Thanks to James and Steve for sticking around. Finn had to jet off to the Cook Islands, apparently. But Steve, how has your weekend been?
Yeah. It's been a bit of a busy but not too busy weekend, bud. So for me, well, I got to say, I'm not too really well. I don't know if you saw from Friday night. There was a certain game that happened.
Yeah, Warriors beat Manly.
Oh, he was going to try and break it gently, James.
well, look, it's okay. I don't. I think as we talked about over the weekend, Angus, it's okay. We don't mind helping our Cuzzy bros over across the Dutch.
Yeah, I know you were happy because you're a Wars fan underneath, aren't you?
Well, I am, but I guess it's also good to see the adopted team of the Central Coast get a win because, let's face it, the other two Central Coast teams haven't been doing so well so far this year.
You're not wrong, especially Brando's favourite team. I hate to bring this up, Brando, but what happened yesterday? The Tigers beat you by a lot.
Yeah, it must feel so great that it's not your team being beaten by the Tigers this time around.
And Brando goes boom. Jamesy, what's the highlight from your weekend?
Just to catch up with some of my old high school friends, Stephen Epps and Ethan Romero.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh.
Yeah. First we did a recording and then we just hung out.
Oh, that's really nice. Well,
yeah.
I love the spirit of celebrating with friends that we have in the studio tonight because it is St. Paddy's Day, and like I said, we're celebrating with a bunch of fantastic Irish artists. We're going to start off with a couple of Irish artists from the 90s whose accents you can definitely tell still exist while they are singing. Starting off with this one, a bit of The Cause. Nothing like a fine Limerick accent in a beautiful contemporary pop rock song. Coast FM 963, you're on Roar and More. Angus Hamill with you as always, joined alongside by Stephen Wheatley, Brandon McMillan and James O'Brien. Very nicely done. Hey, James actually joined in on that one. That was really lovely. Those two songs you just heard were by a couple of Irish bands with iconic hits from the mid-1990s. At the top, we heard from The Cause with Breathless, and you just heard The Cranberries with Linger. A couple of bands too, not just from Ireland, but still show off their accents in their songs. I think Linger by The Cranberries right there is the best example of that. And boys, we were talking a bit while those songs were playing about Irish people we know. Now, I'm very Scottish. Brando, you're very Scottish as well.
Laddie, yeah.
Macmillan does not get more feverishly Scottish than that. But we were talking about other members of the Raw team, past and present, who have very Irish names. And what was it that you guys came up with in that department?
Well, honourable mentions is James O'Brien, who's sitting next to me.
Oh, sure.
He does have a very he's a very good high contender for having an Irish name, doesn't he?
Hey, son of Brian.
Oh, Brian's son. But, you know, he's got the other half, which is his Greek side as well. So he's got the best of both worlds.
Yes. But so what we were talking about, who has the most Irish name, is a buddy of ours who is no longer at the coast. He's down south now. But Bradley Martin, which is pretty. But Steve, who was the other person?
Well, I think probably the other person that I probably know of that would probably be a very high contender for having a very Irish name, who is our other team member here on Raw and More, is Finn O'Brien, who, shout out if you're tuning in right now from the Cook Islands.
I know, right? Man, Mr. Cookie himself.
Before we go on, I don't think that's his full name, correct?
No. His full name actually is Finn Smith O'Brien.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I reckon if I had to pick, I reckon that takes it, because Fenn is Irish as hell. And then we got Smith O'Brien.
Of course.
Yeah, Fenn Smith O'Brien. I can picture him being like a parliamentarian from Dublin with a name like that. It's like such an Irish name. Bradley Martin's fantastically Irish as well, but I reckon Finn takes the cake there.
Well, Angus. I think I know one that a name that can probably very beat that. Now, this wasn't a person that has been a part of Raw and More, because obviously we've only been doing this for a couple of weeks. But not only did we have a Irishman on Raw Youth Disability Radio through last year, but he also had probably what could be the number one very Irish name, and good old Brando had the privilege of chatting to this gent. Brando, do you remember a gentleman by the name of Vinnie Keane?
Oh, yes, Vinnie Keane, yes.
Very Irish name. Shout out to you, Vinnie, if you're tuning in right now, mate.
That'd be amazing if he was. Vinnie Keane, blind tennis player. I reckon it would be more Irish if he was Vinnie O'Keane. That would make it. That would be the one for me. Yeah, he was great. So in terms of Raw guests, Vinnie Keane, most Irish. Raw team members, I think we can agree. Finn Smith O'Brien.
Yeah. Yes.
He takes the cake.
Yeah. So congratulations, Finn.
Well done, Finn.
Congratulations. Your prize is nothing.
His prize is a trip to the Cook Islands.
Away from us.
That's the way.
Yeah, but who would have thought out of Raw guest, the Irish guy has the most Irish name?
Unbelievable, right? Wow, we never would have seen that coming. And something else we never would have seen coming is coming up. We're going to be hearing from Brando Macmillan's Good Vibe of the Night. That's coming up right after this. And now it's time for a segment that'll transport you straight to the Emerald Isle. It's called Angus' Good Vibe of the Night. I love that. That was a beautiful a cappella performance. Brando's Good Vibe of the Night, the segment where he dives into his own personal playlist, pulls out a song that he thinks has immaculate vibes, slaps them out there on the Coast FM airwaves in hopes that you, Finn O'Brien on the plane to the Cook Islands, enjoy it as much as he does. Brando, it's St. Paddy's Day. What have you got on the table for us?
Okay. So, as you all know, I was gone for a week, but I am back, and since the boys are all here, and this is perfect timing too, because I picked the song on Saturday, not knowing that there was a music theme, but I picked The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy.
And by the boys, you mean the boy.
Yeah, that's right.
In the flesh.
Because we're all back together.
That's right.
All in one.
You're all raw back together. Get it? Well, that's a lovely celebration of not just an Irish act, but the fact that you're back in the studio with us, Brando, and also the fact that you had your takeover on Raw tonight. I reckon it's the perfect occasion to play this song. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Brando's Good Vibe of the Night, Thin Lizzy with The Boys Are Back in Town. Yeah, the boys, they're back in town.
The boys are back, yeah.
Yeah, the boys are back. Coast FM 963. You're on Raw and More. Angus Hamel, Steve Wheatley, Brando, and James O'Brien with you. That right there was Brando's Good Vibe of the Night, which was, of course,
The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy.
Hell yeah, they are, which you chose for your return on the airwaves tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, welcome back.
And what a coincidence, it's on St. Paddy's Day.
I know. Did
Could
you
not have timed it any better.
Did you realise that it was Monday night, St. Patrick's Day, when you picked a song by an Irish band as your good vibe?
No, I picked that on a Saturday because I was talking to Steve through text because he was like, you better be here on this week's episode. And I was like, yeah, and to top it all off, I'll use that song.
Oh, well, there you go.
I didn't tell anyone until at the last minute and go, yeah, I'm free, so let's go.
That's sick. So you didn't even realise it was like an Irish kind of connection right there. You just put it on the airwaves and there, St. Paddy's Day out of the blue. Fantastic. Well, something else that's fantastic is putting these guys' minds to the test with...
Two songs, they sound exactly alike. Yes,
Sing it,
these
Angus.
are two songs, and they sound alike.
Yes, it's Sound-Alikes, the segment where I play two songs that fall into the category of one being recorded first, obviously, but then another comes along and uses the first as, let's say, inspiration for its composition. Now, my trusty team of sleuths in front of me right now, the task that they have in front of them is they have to decide whether or not the song that sampled the original did it in a legal way, getting permission from the original writers or performers, producers, whatever, or kind of did it a bit more sneaky, running behind their back and hoping to get away with it. Now, the two songs that we have in front of us this evening, boys, of course, it's St. Patrick's Day, so we're going to be looking, without further ado, at one of the most iconic Irish bands of all time. This is the original of the two tunes. It's U2 with their 1988 hit single, With or Without You. I will tell you right now, love, it's not. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, Angus Hamill, Steve Wheatley, Brando Macmillan, James O'Brien, indeed, on St. Paddy's Day.
Hey.
We're in the midst of a segment called Sound-Alikes where I give the guys two songs, one original, one that sampled the original, and it's up to these sleuths in the studio to figure out whether or not the sample was done in a legal fashion or an illegal fashion. Now, guys, I've kind of given you one that's a bit tricky because that song you just heard had two samples in it. But the original of those two tracks was U2 with their 1988 hit single With or Without You, which was then used in the song you just heard, English dance group LMC with their 04 hit single Take Me to the Clouds Above. Now, the main sample of that song is, of course, the Whitney Houston lyrics that the singer sings, but we want to focus more on the U2 sample in the music. I'll go to Steve first. Do you think that was done legally or illegally?
I think it was illegal, mate. I just, because to me, hearing that the difference between U2's version and that version, and being, as you just mentioned, had a bit of that Whitney Houston to it. Yeah, I think it's I'm fairly confident it's the illegal version.
Nice. What do you reckon, Brando? You going to go with Steve, or do you think the opposite?
I completely disagree with Steve. I mean...
Fine.
No, I just think they took the sample and made it completely different. If you listen to the songs back to back, it's two completely different vibes, so...
Nice.
That's the point of a sample, isn't it?
Exactly, to be used in a whole new kind of platform, not ripping off. I like that. James, we got two different answers.
They're pretty much two good answers too. So, and I'm kind of debating which one's which.
You can't just be on the fence.
But hey, let me talk.
We need conflicts, James.
But I'm probably more leaning towards the illegal side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Team Steve.
Might be a bit of a hunch.
That's fair. I mean, there was a bit of a coin flip in the end.
Okay, easy win for me. So.
I was going to say I can confirm someone is correct. What? Shocker, right? And that person or people is Brando. Congratulations.
When you said people, I was like, oh, I lost.
I thought I'd give you that red herring. Yes.
In return, he got something right.
I know, right? Congratulations. About time.
After the weekend, he probably needs to get at least something.
Finally, a win for Brando. Well, yeah, LMC, before they even produced that song, they got permission from U2 to use the synth riff and the melody from With or Without You, and every member of the band is featured as a writing singing credit on that track, as well as George Merrill, who wrote Whitney Houston's How Will I Know, that's used in the vocals. So they did it. They did the good thing. They didn't rip them off. They used their melody, but they did it the right way, and that's the main thing. A lot of artists can definitely learn from that. Time for us to take a quick break, but coming up, we're keeping the Irish vibes going with my good vibe of the night. Why, we're taking a trip from Dublin all the way to Belfast on Angus's good vibe of the night. Yeah, no backup needed on that one. Yes, it's my good vibe of the night, the segment where I dive deep into my own personal playlist, pull out a song or two that I think have immaculate vibes, slap them out there in the Coast FM airwaves, and hope that you, yes you, listening at home right now, enjoy them as much as I do. Now, because tonight is St. Patrick's Day, and yes, I knew it was St. Patrick's Day in advance, just slightly, I thought it would be really cool to visit an artist who is not Irish themselves, but has a real Irish heritage beneath them. And you can tell just by looking at him. English singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran and his beautiful flaming red locks. This is a track from his 2016 album called Divide, and it was included in the deluxe edition of the album as a bonus track. It tells the story of how his grandparents met when they were both in Ireland. Now, it's a bit of a Romeo and Juliet tale. Their families did not want them to meet because of religious reasons, but they ran away and they got married anyway, moved to England, and, well, you'll hear the story. It sounds a lot better when Ed's telling it. Without further ado, here is my good vibe of the night. It's Ed Sheeran with Nancy Mulligan, which is the name of his nan. See? Banger after banger on Coast FM 963, if I do say so myself. Raw and More, Ango, Steve-O, Brando, and James O'Brien. O'Brien, laddies, indeed. We're in the midst of a segment called My Good Vibe of the Night, where I dive deep into my own personal playlist, pull out a song or two that I think have immaculate vibes, slap them out there on the Coast FM airwaves, and hope that you listening in right now enjoy it as much as I do. Special kind of double play right there for Ireland and St. Paddy's Day. At the top, we had Ed Sheeran with a bonus track from his 2016 album Divide. It's called Nancy Mulligan, and it tells the story of how his grandparents fell in love and had a bunch of kids and a bunch of grandkids and moved to England because their very religious and opposing religious families did not want them to get married. It's like if Romeo and Juliet had a happy Irish wedding where they all drank whiskey and Guinness at the end of the film. That song you just heard was Two Door Cinema Club, indie pop rock outfit from Northern Ireland that I got the chance to see live in Newcastle. Sorry, Brando. Last year. That's their hit single, What You Know. And that's one of my all-time favourite songs, an absolute banger. It even went off live even more. I think, James, you were saying you're a fan of that song too when it was playing. You got into it.
Well, it was in my Spotify Top 100, even though I barely played it. I just looked at it and went, where'd you come from?
See, some songs are just that good. They just manifest their way onto the playlist without you even realising.
Probably.
That's what happened there with Two Doors, which is fantastic. Now, we're about to cross over the 7 to 8 o'clock threshold. Ooh. And to do so, we have a challenge ahead of us with these boys once again. Now, before we came on into the studio tonight, I asked these guys to give me each a year between 1993 and 2024, like we've done the last couple of weeks. I believe it was Steve and James who I ended up asking. James, what year did you say?
2019.
And Steve, what year did you say?
I chose the start of the millennium and the year that we had the Olympics here in Sydney. I chose the year 2000.
2000. Oh, nice. Very nicely done.
2000, yep. Yes.
I love that we all applauded that. I then flipped a coin and to choose between those 2 years. 2019 was tails, 2000 was heads. I can reveal right now the year that won was 2000.
Yay! So
here we applaud.
I'll take that.
We're going back to that one. Congratulations, Steve. Basically, we are going to be hearing 3 songs that charted in the top 10 of that year's countdown. It's up to you guys when we come back on air to tell me which of these 3 songs charted the highest. Starting off with a real dancey track of its own, we have Sophie Ellis-Bextor and Spiller with Groove Jet. Oh, Oh, what a banger. Coast FM 963. You're on the second hour of Raw and More. Ango, Steve-O, Brando and James O'Brien with you celebrating St. Paddy's Day with a bunch of celebratory and Irish-themed tunes right there. And I got to say, Steve doesn't know what he's missing.
What he's seeing.
Or what he's seeing. I'm
Nice.
glad you completed that. That's very nicely done. To make passage over the 8 o'clock threshold, those were 3 songs back to back to back right there that all charted very high up on the Hottest 100 of 2000 as picked by Stefan Wheatley and Coinflip.
Yeah.
It's up to my beautiful boys in front of me right now to try and guess which of those 3 tunes charted the highest on that list. At the top, we heard from Spiller featuring Sophie Ellis-Bextor with Groove Jet, also known as If This Ain't Love. In the middle, we heard from Aussie indie rockers Powderfinger with My Happiness. And then we just heard from American rockers Wheatus with Teenage Dirtbag. Boys, I pose you the question, which one charted the highest?
All
Brando?
right, I'll be first.
Oh, he's coming first for once.
I think Teenage Dirtbag was the highest.
Ooh.
Second highest was My Happiness. And the third one was, what was it called again?
Yeah, Groove Jet.
Groove Jet,
One of
yeah.
those songs that's kind of known by another title because it doesn't say Groove Jet at all in the lyrics.
It does not.
Yeah, second. And probably the same year that everyone was using Nokias for snakes, playing snakes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun
2000.
fact. So back to the question. I think Powderfinger was number 1. Then would be Teenage Dirtbag be number 2, but it'd be like, I reckon it'd be really, really close. And the first song would be Groove.
Nice. I like that. Well, we're getting all the top 3 in order. How about you, Steve? Can you follow that up?
Well, I'm still in a bit of shock. I was actually expecting Brendan to actually make me go first.
I was so expecting that. He's faked us all out.
Well, if Steve was first, he'd fake one of us out.
That's true.
I was expecting him after coming back from 2 weeks away for him to.
It was 1 week. Anyway, Steve, answer the question.
Anyway. So, right. So, I'm going to go. So I'm going to have Teenage Dirtbag at number 3. I'm going to have Powderfinger at number 2, and what was the other one? Sorry.
Sophie Ellis-Bextor, Groove Jet.
Yes, I'm going to have Groove Jet as number 1.
All right. Wow.
Most the highest out of all of them.
Yes.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, so Sophie Ellis-Bextor is my number 1.
Well, you never know. I mean, there's been some
Different answers
surprising winners in history. I love it. 3 different answers means someone has actually won.
We will
what?
have, we
How did it
will
last
have a
week?
decider.
All right, I can reveal Steve. Sophie Ellis-Bextor was actually the lowest of the 3. I do apologise. And that's a good sound effect.
We'll get him next time.
And the person who guessed correctly with the top charting song was James. My Happiness by Powderfinger topped the list that year. It came in at number 1. Teenage Dirtbag came in at number 3 on the countdown. And sandwiched between the two of them was this song.
It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day.
So there you go, a double dose of U2 on the show tonight, Steve.
You can't have St. Patrick's Day on a Raw and More on Monday night without a bit of U2, can't you?
Aye, laddie, me too? No, you too.
Me too, you too, you 3.
You 3. Other songs that charted well that year were Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. That came in at number 7. Yellow by Coldplay was number 5. Bohemian Like You, Dandy Warhol's number 10. Freestyle by Bomb Funk MCs. And All the Small Things by, what were their names again? Blink-182. And also, James, Last Resort by Papa Roach came in at number 40 that year.
Hey,
So I made that.
boys.
I know you like Papa Roach, so that worked well. Anyways, coming a bit closer to home, it's now time for...
And now it's time for the local list. Brought to you by Home Brewed.
I'm fairly local. I've been around.
So congratulations to James on winning that quiz, the Hottest 100 quiz, firstly.
Yippee!
Yoppa!
I'm more enthusiastic than last week.
I can see it's because you've been on the colas, so well done, Coca-Cola. Yes, Homebrewed, the boys that were on this very time slot a couple of years ago, Cameron Smith and Eamon Snow, send me a fantastic new release by a local Central Coast-based artist every single week. Tonight's pick is coming in from Eamon Snow, and guys, you're going to love the name of this one. It's called Raw.
Hey!
I know, right? Unbelievable stuff. Central Coast solo electronic artist Skeleton has gifted us his second album, Mentalized. The advice with this one is, of course, to listen to the project in full. It is another supremely impressive body of work from him. But we will zero in on track number 6 for this piece. It's called Raw.
What made you pick that one, Angus?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, honestly. It's an ambient and mellow dive into the heart of the album. It builds gently and slowly, which highlights his wizard-level ability, Eamon's words, not mine, to meld his vocals with a totally unique production style mixed with traditional and electronic instrumentation. No one is making music like Skeleton right now, so to represent Raw and more, our pick for the Localist tonight is Skeleton with Raw! Youth Disability Radio. I tell you what, when Billy Idol's there, any city could be hot. Coast of M963, you're on Raw and More, Engo, Steve-O, Brando, and James O'Brien. Hey, I actually wasn't going to commit to it that time, but James instigated it.
You were going to commit to it. I just read your mind.
Well,
I read you.
Okay, maybe he's right. But Steve, you have a bit of a shout out there because that was Billy Idol's 1982 hit single Hot in the City. I believe that came as a suggestion from someone close to you.
It did. That was actually a bit of a song request by my father, who's tuning in, listening to the show tonight. He asked could we play a bit of Billy Idol there because just like the song, it was very hot in the city over the weekend, probably especially if you were playing a sporting game down in Parramatta over the weekend. That wasn't a shot at you, Brando, but I have been in Western Sydney on some very hot days, and it does kind of get quite toasty down there, if you know what I mean.
Don't mind him. He knows my parents listen to this.
Hey, well, biologically speaking, tigers are more used to the hot, dry weather than eels are, okay? So, I mean, eels, Parramatta, it's a long way from the ocean, so you can forgive them for being stuck in the hot part of the city right there with that performance, Brando.
So what's the Eagles' excuse?
Oh.
Well, I'm sure it was just as hot in Manly. I mean, hell, it was even hot here in Gosford, and we're near the water.
I thought it was just because seagulls don't like New Zealand.
Let's get the popcorn ready, boys.
No, we won't. We're all about the good vibes here. Which is why, for the third time tonight, we are going to be hearing from a new
Steve's Good Vibe of the Night. Yeah, good vibes.
Yeah, good vibes. We're listening to Steve's Good Vibe of the Night, where he dives into his playlist, pulls out a very festive song for you to listen to that he thinks has immaculate vibes, and puts it on the airwaves. And Stefan Vitli, that was kind of your dad's Good Vibe of the Night we heard there, but what have you chosen for tonight's playlist?
Well, yes, that was his Good Vibe of the Night, but I have chosen what I think is something that is very special and timed just rightly, being that we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day here tonight, and we have had some absolutely great... There's just so many great Irish artists to choose from, isn't there, gents? We've had the Cranberries, we've had U2.
Oh, yeah, true.
But
Worst Irish accent ever did.
I think it's just a little bit better than Angus's. But But I'm actually going. But my selection actually comes from an artist who we have had featured on the show earlier tonight. Now, Angus. You had Ed Sheeran playing on the show earlier tonight. Well, I'm very pleased to say that we have Ed again. So before we were in Belfast, you were saying that song was actually written about how his parents met, correct?
Oh, grandparents back in the day, yeah.
His grandparents, right. Well, now, I don't know if this is from someone that he has actually met, but we are going all the way from Belfast down the coast to the other side of the country to Galway. It is from the Divided album from Ed Sheeran. Sheeran, and I think it might tell about maybe how he met one of his partners or one of his best friends from from the lovely town there on the western coast of Galway, which, fun fact, guys, you can actually drive, and it would only take you 2 hours to drive all the way from the capital, Dublin, to Galway. So from one side of the country to the other in 2 hours. And you know what? I got to say, it's been a while since I've had a bit of a break, guys. I hope to get over there maybe at the end of the year, maybe the start of next year. But until then, my good vibe of the night is Ed Sheeran with Galway Girl.
She's a sweet little minx from the shores of Galway on Coast FM 96.3. That right there was Steve's good vibe of the night, which was, of course,
Ed Sheeran with Galway Girl. And I was a bit disappointed we didn't get any call from any Irish lasses who may be living here on the Central Coast right now.
That's right. Steve is single and he's looking for a nice Irish lass. So feel free to call us on 43220072 if you're interested in Steve. That song, obviously, Ed Sheeran from his Divide album, much like the song I picked earlier on in the album, Nancy Mulligan. One thing I thought was really interesting is the fact that you mentioned Galway is a 2-hour drive from Dublin, which is like Sydney to Newcastle. Hey, Brandon, your favourite road trip?
Who told you that? That's like not true.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, you're sure about that.
I mean, only someone that would say, you know, that they don't like it actually secretly means that they like it.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm trying to catch him out, but one thing...
Hang on, let's not go there, okay?
Oh.
But yes, no, that actually is. It's, I guess maybe, I don't know if this is probably actually accurate, but it's, I've had some people say that it's kind of like a version of Newcastle. I mean, I've heard the nightlife in most people who
That's not a
go...
compliment. Anyways, yeah.
Anyway. So, but yeah, no, that's you can actually drive from all the way from the capital Dublin to Galway in 2 hours. So one side, and you were actually surprised, Angus. You said, "Oh, I didn't think Ireland was that small."
I know, I knew it was tiny, but I didn't realise that. We're used to Aussie measurements over here, I guess. But for Raw and More, this is a segment I want to bring back tonight. It's called Two Songs with One Title, completely different except for the fact that they share the same words in the title. That's what this segment is for.
Good singing there, Angus.
Oh, thank you. I recorded that like 5 years ago. It's Two Songs, One Title.
I didn't know you could play the guitar.
Yeah, that's totally me, and not a backing track from YouTube. Two Songs, One Title is the segment where I give you two songs that are absolutely nothing alike. Different eras of music, different styles of music. One could be a solo artist, one could be a band, one could be a boy, one could be a girl, one could be a they, them. The possibilities are endless, but they just so happen to share the exact same title. Now, guys, you can rest easy. This quiz is not for you. It's for the Coasties, the listeners. Now, this is inspired by a video I saw pop up on my YouTube channel. Well, not mine, but I was watching YouTube. And a video came up saying, what is the most common song title in history? And it's this one that we're going to be playing on the show tonight. So if you're playing along at home, see how long it takes for you to guess the title of these two songs. I'll start off with a lesser-known track first and transition into a more well-known hit. And they both have the same title, and you don't need a hint because it's the most popular title of all time. Without further ado, here is song number one. Wholesome. Coast FM 963. You're on Raw and More. Ango, Steve-O, Brando, and James. What was that? J-Mo. That's a new... Oh, you wanted to cut off the O'Brien. O'Brien.
Nice try, James.
Yeah, your plan backfired like a boss. We're in the midst of a segment right now called Two Songs, One Title, where I give you two songs that have absolutely nothing in common with each other, but they just so happen to have the exact same title. And for those of you playing along at home, did you get it? It is the most popularly used song title of all time. I think I should pose the question to the boys in the studio here. Did you guys get it? I think, James, you were pretty confident.
Oh, I got it, but not telling you. Steve, do you know the answer?
So I'm actually going to be honest, Coasties. I am not familiar with both of these two songs.
Oh.
I only know the second song that we had playing there because of the tune, because of some of the FIFA football video games. That's the only way how I know that that song. But I'm going to blindly, pun intended,
Nice.
take a guess, and I'm going to say "Coming Home" is the title of both of those songs.
Got
What
the
about
theme.
Brandon?
Yeah,
What
I
about
like
you?
it.
Just let me clear my throat a bit. I have no idea.
Good guess. Good guess.
That is not the title.
He's
All right, James, you know it. What's the title of those two songs?
All right. Cat's out of the bag. It's called Home.
That's right. The title of those two songs is just simply Home. And apparently that's the most popularly used song title of all time. We heard the big hit right there, 2009 hit single from Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, Home. At the top there we heard American singer-songwriter and internet comedian Bill Wirtz with his 2011 song Home, which Will waiting out the back to come on air from 9 p.m. Really enjoyed that one. He loves Bill Wirtz, much like myself, so excellent taste in music to you, Will. Time for us to take a quick break, but speaking of excellent taste in music, we're going to be hearing James's Good Vibe of the Night right after this. And here's one for all the James girlies that have been waiting patiently for the last 2 hours. It's called
James's Good Vibe of the Night.
James's Good Vibe of the Night. You know the drill by now. James has picked a song from his own personal playlist that he thinks has amazing vibes, and he's going to slap it out there on the Coast of M airwaves and hope that you enjoy it as much as he does. Jamesy, what have you picked tonight?
I picked my own good vibe. It's the type of song that will get everyone hyped. And it's pretty much matching the theme St. Patrick's Day.
It's
But
got
we're
Irish vibes.
Yeah, but we're diving into America. But it's pretty much a hype song is about losing something and you're shipping up to find something to retrieve it. Going on a journey, it will gets everyone hyped. Either you're playing as a rugby team or a basketball team. I'm shipping up the Boston. It's by Dropkick Murphys.
Well, my goodness, before we play that, I got to say I have a dog at home named Murphy, so I really hope you don't drop kick Murphy. But
Shout out to you, Murphy.
shout out to you, Murphy. James is not going to come over anytime soon to drop kick you, but we are going to play this song, Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys, James's Good Vibe of the Night. That one's for the Irish folk on St. Patrick's Day that have had a couple too many pints of Guinness. Coast FM 963. That right there was James's Good Vibe of the Night, which
indeed
was...
It is. I'm shipping up the Bostons by Dropkick Murphys.
Poor Murphy.
I'll take it.
he said Boston, mate, not Toukley.
Oh, thank goodness. That's on the other side of the planet. Nice pick, Jamesy. That's a real hype song to finish things off well and truly. Coming up after the 9 o'clock news, we're going to be hearing classic hits and more with Will,
Yeah.
who joins us right now. What have you got for us?
Oh, it's going to be an interesting night, starting off a bit eclectic. We've got a mix of a bunch of different genres to start us off. And the genre I'm going to be diving in for tonight is very deserty, I would say. It's like very, very sort of like you're in a desert. It's like very like, you're traveling through the Sahara, you're trying to find water. Take with that whatever you will.
You're thirsty. You're looking for something to drink. Yeah.
But it's going to be very, very fun. Absolutely.
Well, looking forward to that one. After Will, we'll be hearing Matt McCoy with Indie Rock Cafe. But that's it for us tonight on Raw and More. Thanks very much, guys, for joining me as always. I've had a absolutely spiffing time with you laddies today.
Apologies for all the bad Irish accents from on behalf of
I'm
the
not
other
sorry,
boys.
by the way.
I have no regrets. I don't know what you're on about, Brandon.
No, I've got no regrets.
I
No regrets
promised in
either.
the intro, no Irish accents.
Next minute, there was plenty of Irish accents. Well, in the spirit of friendship for St. Patrick's Day, here's one more song I want to finish off with tonight. It's Brisbane-based rockers Ballpark Music with a song from their 2014 album, Because I've loved being on air with you guys and I love you as my friends. This one's called Everything Is Except My Friendship with You. And coming up, we got Will. See you next time.
See you next time, Central Coast. Good night.